የዚህ ወር ቅኝታችን የሾላ ገበያ ነበር። እንዳየነውም ከቀመና አንስተን እስከ አትክልት አልፎም ደግሞ እስከ ቅቤ ተመልክተናል። ዛሬ ሶስቱንም የሚያወክል ገበታ እንሰራለን። ዛሬ የምንሰራው ገበታ ከሀገራችንና ከዩናይትድ ኪንግደም ጋር የተገናኘ ገበታ ይሆናል። እሱን ገበታን ስንሰራ ዛሬ የተከበሩ እንግዳ አሉን። እሳቸውን እናስተዋውቃችሁ። Thank you for joining us, Ambassador Susanna Moorhead. Welcome to the Chef Yohanis show.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Okay, fantastic. So we're doing a recipe today inspired from the shepherd's pie, but again with Ethiopian ingredients. So I hope you'll enjoy your stay and you'll tell us more about Great Britain cuisine and more.
I will. It's one of my favorite dishes.
Really? All right. Fantastic. All right. ለዚህ ምግብ ዝግጅት የሚያስፈልገን አይብ፣ ኮረሪማ፣ ጎመን፣ ሚጥሚጣ፣ ያልተነጠረ ቅቤ፣ የተነጠረ ቅቤ፣ የፍየል ስጋ የተፈጨ፣ ድንችና ወተት ይሆናል። ይሄ ወተት የተቆራሸ ወተት ነው፣ ማለትም የታጠነ በወይራ እንጨት ማለት ነው። በድንቹ እንጀምራለን። ድንቹን ስንከት ቀዝቃዛ ውሃ ውስጥ ነው መግባት ያለበት፣ ካልሆነ ቶሎ የማፍረስ ስሜት አለው። So, Ambassador, how would you describe the Ethiopian food culture?
It's a fascinating culture for me. Injera is the basis of it, which I must confess I had never eaten until I came here. It's delicious. I prefer the dark one. What interests me so much about what you have with injera is the variety across Ethiopia. And in many ways, it's a fusion of Ethiopian taste, there's a lot of Middle Eastern influence, and it reminds me of Indian food as well.
So, what are the particularities of the UK food culture, and do you see any similarities with ours?
I think people often think that British cuisine is not very delicious, and they're completely wrong.
Okay.
So what characterises British food culture is principally two things. One is that we have very different and distinct seasons.
Okay.
So the foods that are available in our quite long, wet, dark winters, like root vegetables, are very, very different from the lovely strawberries, raspberries, tomatoes that you would get in the summer. And traditionally, what you ate was very much in sync with the different seasons. So a huge variety throughout the year. The second big characteristic, and this is what is similar to Ethiopia, is the influence of cuisines from all over the world. So obviously from Europe, but also from India, from parts of Africa, from spices from far and wide. Saffron, for example, is used a lot in cooking in the very southwest of the country, in Cornwall. And the reason for that is that back in the 1500s, the Spanish used to trade up and down the west coast of mainland Europe, and traded saffron with the Cornish. So you would think, on the edge of the Atlantic, why are saffron buns and saffron cakes so popular? And it's because of that trade route, which has characterized much of our cuisine.
ድንቹ እስኪበስልን ድረስ ስጋውን ማዘጋጀት እንጀምራለን። ስለዚህ ስጋውን ልክ እንደ ክትፎ መጀመሪያ በደንብ በቅቤና በሚጥሚጣና በኮረሪማ እናሻውና ከዛ በደንብ መብሰል አለበት።
ጥቂት ዘይት፣ ስጋ፣ የተነጠረ ቅቤ፣ ኮረሪማ፣ ሚጥሚጣ።
ስጋውን ስናበስል በደንብ ማብሰል አለብን። እንደ ይሄ ፓይ ስለሆነ የምንሰራው እና ምድጃው ስለሚገባ ከገባ በኋላ ውሃ የሚተፋ ከሆነ ያበላሽብናል። So the United Kingdom is one of the countries in the world that had so much exposure, and from that I'm sure there's much learning in terms of gastronomy and culture exchange. Would you tell us some of that regarding food?
Yeah, so I think English British food, it's always been a combination of local food, which is very much the recipe you're using today, but also from the time of empire, from the time of you know, long ago being a trading nation, we've always brought food and recipes and ideas from all over the world back to the UK.
Okay.
So one of my favourite stories is about what's often called the British national dish, which is an Indian curry known as chicken tikka masala in Britain. And Britons love Indian food. I mean, I'm sure, Chef, you've seen the many Indian restaurants on every high street. There will always be one.
Okay.
So when British people travel to India, they often go into a restaurant in Delhi or Mumbai and say, I'll have chicken tikka masala, please.
Okay.
And it doesn't exist.
Really?
So it is a genuinely fusion
Recipe.
dish that's a combination, obviously, of the very strong Indian influence, but that has been adapted over many years by chefs in Britain.
All right, so we've added some spices to our meat, and we're actually using goat. If I'm not mistaken, you actually use lamb in the preparation of a shepherd's pie. So why do you call it shepherd's pie?
So, funnily enough, this dish is a leftover dish. And it originates from a long time ago when the only time that poorer families would have eaten meat would have been on a Sunday.
Okay.
So you would have had a traditional Sunday roast, might have been lamb, mutton, or beef, and the meat that was left over had to feed the family for the rest of the week. So the original recipe for this, the meat would already have been cooked, it would have been roasted on the Sunday, and then minced up and served with potatoes during the week.
Okay.
The version with mutton or lamb is called shepherd's pie.
Right.
If it's made with beef, for some reason it's called cottage pie, and I'm not sure why. Cottage as in a small cottage.
Yes, all right.
But I think we're going to have to come up with a new term for one made with goat. We very rarely eat goat.
ድንቹ በሚገባ ሲበስል በእቃ ውስጥ እንድጠዋለን።
What would you recommend to countries like Ethiopia, who's currently urbanizing and shifting into that? How can we prevent culture loss or this tradition loss?
Well, one thing that will help is that there are more gadgets to make cooking easier if you're living in the city. So you're not having to make a fire to cook your food, you have refrigerators, you have labour-saving devices. So I think the key is for people like you to show everybody how they can cook good, nutritious food without having to spend hours doing it. And to remind everybody that good nutrition, I mean, for our children, but also for ourselves, is the basis of good health. So this is a really important investment to make in family life. But critically, don't be too purist about it. I think it's actually fine to buy injera from the supermarket.
It is now.
If you don't have time to make injera, that's okay, but make the sauce that goes with it. The other thing, I mean, that I always did when my children were small was to cook a lot at the weekends and to freeze it.
Okay.
So that during the week, if you get home late, you remember to take it out of the freezer in the morning so it's defrosted, and then all you have to do is put it in the oven.
Interesting. So cook during the weekends and actually use that for the week. Interesting.
ጥሬ ቅቤ
አሁን እዚህ ጋር የምናበስለው ድንቹ በስሏል፣ ግን ከቅቤውና ከወተቱ ጋር በደንብ እንዲዋሃድልን ትንሽ ሰዓት ላይ አሁንም እናስመጣዋለን። Here's the smoked milk.
Wow.
You like it?
Yeah, it smells really good.
በወይራ እንጨት የታጠለውን ወተት እንጨምርበታለን።
All right, so the mash is ready, the meat is ready, and we already have sieved spinach. So we're just going to start plating, or actually preparing it for the oven preparation. Would you join me
Yes, of
for
course.
cooking? Fantastic. I see it says food is great. Brilliant. Could you tell us a bit more about this apron?
The Great campaign is a British government campaign to promote British culture, British customs, British businesses around the world. And one very important part of this is our food. We pride ourselves on having very high quality food and high food standards that we want people to share and enjoy. We also pride ourselves on fusion cooking. And this is a great opportunity to see how we can solidify British-Ethiopian relationships and advertise the great campaign.
That is fantastic. Could you tell us about some companies that are in Ethiopia that are promoting the food and beverage in the UK?
So the biggest investor is Diageo, which is a drinks, a beverage company. And they make all sorts of things, beers, spirits, but most recently they've launched another great British brand, Guinness, which has its origins in Ireland. And there is an alcoholic Guinness, a beer, but also what Diageo is making here is a new product that is a non-alcoholic Guinness, which is what this bottle is, known as Malta Guinness. And this is a malt-based drink. It's an acquired taste, not everybody likes it, but it's very, very good for you. And it's particularly good for new mums who are breastfeeding. It's full of vitamins, especially vitamin B. And above all, when you think how tired you are when you've got a new baby, this is a pick you up.
Really?
So when you're in the middle of the night doing that 3 a.m. feed and you think, I must go to sleep, a little glass of this is good for you and good for baby.
የምናበስልባቸውን የሸክላ ጣባዎች የተነጠረ ቅቤ እንቀባቸዋለን።
So, Ambassador, do you cook?
I love cooking, although I have very, very good chefs in my residence. And I think they prefer to keep the kitchen to themselves. But no, I enjoy it very much.
Would you like to taste the meat?
I would, very much. Can I use my fingers?
Of course, you
I
have gloves.
a glove on.
Not too spicy?
Not too spicy. The spice comes just at the end. It's very subtle, very nice.
Definitely the kind of cuisine I like. Subtle taste. All right. So, and I didn't salt it much because the mitmita has a lot of salt as well.
መጀመሪያ ያበሰልነውን ስጋ ጣባዎቹ ላይ መጥነን እናስቀምጣለን።
So we've also added some fat into it. That's what gives it makes it actually soft when you blend it, when you mince it.
ከዚያ ያበሻ አይብ በላዩ ላይ እናደርጋለን። ተቀቅሎ የተከተፈ ቆስጣ፣ ድንቹ ላይ ጥቂት ጨው ጣል አድርገን ጣባዎች ውስጥ እንጨምረዋለን።
The United Kingdom now is one of the few countries in the world that still has royalty. Is there any recipe or any meal that is reserved for novelty?
I think these days, no. Our royal family is very modern, and Her Majesty the Queen actually likes rather simple food. Which, given how many official banquets she has to host, I think is not surprising. But in the past, there were certain foods that only royalty could eat, and the one that I always think of is swans. Swans. Yes, I have no idea what swan tastes like, but I don't think that anybody eats them anymore.
So let's put this in the oven for a few minutes. This way it's going to brown it and also make everything really warm.
በመጨረሻም ወደ ምድጃ እናስገባዋለን።
Top or?
Oh, that's perfect. And voila. Shall we taste?
It smells delicious. Really good.
Yeah.
Very delicate flavour. Just enough cheese to give it a bit of interest, and the spinach is perfect. So no, it's absolutely delicious. I shall try and make it myself.
If you say so, then very glad, especially knowing that it's your favorite recipe, I think, the shepherd's pie.
It is, but I've never had one quite like this. I think I can have a little more, if
Please.
that's okay. It's not too heavy, and it's a perfect meal. I mean, you've got some protein, vegetables, some carbs, so very well balanced as well.
Especially for winter, right?
And easy to make. And you could make it in advance, put it in the freezer,
Absolutely.
and heat it up when you get home from a busy day at the office.
Absolutely. So እዚህ ጋር ያየነው ምንድነው በደንብ አሁን የቅቤው ጣዕም አለ፣ የሚጥሚጣው ጣዕም አለ። ሁሉንም ደግሞ ከአትክልት አንስቶ እስከ ድንችና ስጋ ስላለው ሁሉንም ያካተተ ምግብ ነው። ቀድሞ ተሰርቶ ደግሞ መልሶ አሙቆ መበላት ስለሚችል ሁላችንም ማዘጋጀት የምንችለው የምግብ አይነት ነው። Ambassador, one thing I was telling you earlier is when we travel around Ethiopia, we discover so much in terms of culinary legacy. We have a culinary legacy that dates back as 3,000 years. What would be your suggestion in promoting this big legacy we have?
I think it's television programs like this. Okay. One of the reasons that people in Britain have started cooking again is because of what we call TV chefs. Jamie Oliver, many others. So I think the best thing you can do, Chef Yohanis, is to carry on what you're doing.
So አብራችሁን ስለቆያችሁ በጣም እናመሰግናለን። አምባሳደርን በጣም እናመሰግኖት እንፈልጋለን ጆይን ስላደረጉን እና ይህን ምግብ የፍየል ፓይን ስለቀመስን. I hope you liked it.
It was absolutely delicious, and I will try and make fiel pie at home.
Excellent. አብራችሁን እናንተም ስለቆያችሁ እናመሰግናለን። በተመሳሳይ ፕሮግራም እስከምንገናኝ መልካም ሳምንት። ዛሬ ያዘጋጀነውን ገበታ አሰራር ለምትፈልጉ 8053 ላይ ሲዋይ ብላችሁ በመላክ ዝርዝሩን በአማርኛ ታገኛላችሁ። 8053 ላይ ሲዋይ ብላችሁ ጠይቁ። እና ጠፋኝ እንትን ኮረሪማ ሲዋይ ብለና ጎመን ነው። ኦኬ put some milk and some butter to give it more taste, right? Unfortunately, we have to wait.
What is goat in Amharic?
Fiyal.
Figal.
Fiyal.
Fiyal. Fiyal.
Yes.
Maybe we should call it fiel pie.